We welcome 2 deputations. We're going to do them in reverse order because the people from Songpagu wanted to do theirs second. So can I welcome the representatives from the Ministry of Education and Girls High regarding item 15.1. Just so you're aware of the rules surrounding deputations, there is a 10-minute time limit that will go on here, and that includes your speaking time and any questions that people may ask. So we have your deputation in written form in front of us, and we're in your hands.
Right.
Welcome.
Good morning. Thank you for making the time available to see us today. My name's Daryl Millar. I'm a Director of Resource Management Group. To my right is Pauline Duthie, who is the Principal for Christchurch Girls High School, and Peter Fenwick from the Ministry of Education. As you've said, this morning we want to talk about the Matai Street cycle path, which is an agenda item you have before you today. The Ministry and the Board of Trustees made a submission on the cycle path proposal during the consultation period, and today we just want to talk briefly about one key issue that they have. So you all have a copy of the written statement, I hope. Thank you. So I'll read this and then we'll have an opportunity for you to ask us questions. So starting at introduction. The Ministry of Education and the Christchurch Girls High School Board of Trustees provided joint feedback on the proposed cycle path planned for Matai Street East. In summary, the MOE and the Board of Trustees support the proposal in principle and seek a delay in the proposal to enable an integrated land use planning approach that recognises a master planning process that is about to commence on the school site. Buildings on the school site were damaged during the 2011 earthquake sequence. The music suite attached to the auditorium was demolished in March 2011, and the auditorium building at the east end of the site has recently been demolished. Further assessment may result in additional building demolitions. The current budget estimate for physical works on the site is around $23 million. The MOE and the Board of Trustees are about to embark on a master planning exercise to develop a long-term blueprint for the development of the school. The developed master plan will inform, amongst other things, the location and scale of new building work, access arrangements and car parking locations, and improved connectivity within and beyond the site. The design and construction of a new auditorium for the school will proceed as soon as the master plan has been completed. Within this context, there is currently some uncertainty as to how the site will be developed and how it will interact with the adjoining road network. There is a significant body of work to be completed before the master plan can be developed. Consultant procurement for a master planner is currently underway, and it is anticipated that the plan will be locked down by the end of November. In terms of site expansion, of equal importance, given the constrained nature of the site, the master planning exercise will examine opportunities for expanding the site footprint. Given the constraints of the Avon River, nearby residential site access arrangements, and the road network around the site, expansion opportunities are most likely limited to Matai Street itself. With this in mind, the MOE and the Board of Trustees have sought feedback from council officers on 4 road closure options. That feedback is pending. Crown land. A copy of the proposed cycle path plan is attached. I have marked areas where it appears that physical works associated with the proposal are located on the school site. The Board of Trustees and the MOE seek confirmation from the council as to whether that is indeed the intention. If that is the case, the Board of Trustees and the MOE would have expected the council would have consulted over the proposed use of its land. So what is the outcome that we're seeking today? The Board of Trustees and the MOE acknowledge that seeking to delay the consideration of a design solution for the planned cycle path may sit uncomfortably with the council, given that it is one small part of a wider cycle network that the council is endeavouring to develop. Both the cycle path and the school recovery exercise are public realm projects targeted directly at community interests. There is no private pecuniary interest with either project. There is an opportunity here to ensure that these two projects are aligned and to embark on a collaborative design process with the council that considers both beyond scope issues such as possible road closure of part of Matai Street. Within this context, the MOE and the Board of Trustees are strongly of the view that it would be inappropriate to finalise a design solution for the proposed cycle path ahead of the school master plan. Moreover, an integrated approach to land use planning will potentially deliver improved outcomes in the long term. An example of this could be a seamless design in respect of the cycleway and school developments by the Ministry master planners and the Council's design team. Given the anticipated program for development of the school master plan, the Board of Trustees and the MOE request that the Council defer making a decision on this section of the cycle path until the end of November 2014. The Board of Trustees and the MOE consider that it may be possible to reduce this time frame by enabling dialogue between their design consultants and the Council's design staff. Thank you.
Thank you.
Look, thank you for your deputation, and we've had discussion as a council with some of you. Look, I think the matter of whether the cycleway, proposed cycleway, might be on Crown or school land, that's something I had thought staff would have covered and that you would have known by now, but we can ensure that in fact we get advice on that. And that's a valid question, if clearly. Can I just ask you too, though, like you'll be aware that we had a large number of deputations at the time of our annual plan from people who wanted the cycleways put in as fast as possible in the interest of safety. So you're saying, look, have a delay in this area, please. But I'm not sure how that fits. Could you perhaps let us know how you see that fitting alongside safety for the students? And any interim period that there might be a delay?
Yeah. Look, it's a very real issue that you've raised. I think the argument around the annual plan process is a valid one, but I suspect that if a question had been posed that had said, can we bring these two projects together, you might very well have received responses that supported that approach. The annual plan responses that you've received considered a single issue, and that was around the provision of a cycle path. It didn't consider the relationship between the cycle path and other projects.
Can I just really wondered though, like you'll be aware that Riccarton Road is deemed to be, in transport safety reports, is quite, with its current traffic, is quite unsafe for cyclists. So clearly this cycleway, which we're proposing, is to take cyclists off an unsafe road and also relieve, so people can, and also, yeah, take cars off the road too, by more people cycling. So if there's a delay though, you haven't really explained to me how in fact that would, and we don't put the cycleway in this area, how that would make it safe for the cyclists who will be going to school.
I think what we're doing, Councillor, is that we're acknowledging the issue. And what we're asking you to do is to balance that against the potential benefits that might arise from taking a joint approach to the development of the school and the cycleway. And the timeline that we're talking about, yes, it's around November in terms of when we expect the master plan to be prepared, but it may be shorter than that, particularly if we can get the Ministry's consultants to work alongside your design staff. So yes, the issue is absolutely acknowledged. We're not shying away from that. What we're asking for you to do as a council is to consider the benefits that might come from that delay.
Thank you for your submission. What I don't get a clear sense of is, in terms of, you've just briefly touched on the road closure. Are you suggesting that we close Matai Street? And if so, can you just show me which areas in particular you want closed?
We've put 4 options to council staff to consider that involve full closure from Darville Street east through to Deans, full closure from a point approximately halfway between Darville and Deans, towards Deans, and then a half road closure along both of those lengths, so that access would be maintained through Matai Street from Darville to Deans Avenue.
Why do you want to close the road?
It's around the issue of trying to enlarge the footprint that's available to the school and enabling connections and possibly improve connections between the school and the road.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, of course, the reason we've asked the council staff to respond to those 4 options is that we need to understand whether they could receive support in terms of some form of closure, so that we can then in turn determine whether that's an issue that the master planning exercise needs to take into account.
I just think we need to be clear. When you talk about road closure, what you're talking about really is selling off the road to the school for development.
Or part thereof, yes.
Is that really what is at the heart of it?
Yeah. And yes, as Peter's quite rightly pointed out to me, all of those options naturally would include a cycleway connection through to Deans Avenue.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you all. What I would suggest that we do is that we have the Christchurch Song Pagu Sister City Committee students here. What I'd like to do is take their deputation, and then I'll take your clause, which is much later in the paper. But we will do the other deputation before we do that. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much indeed.